Hello quilty friends and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos about quilting and my creative life. Anywhere that you can find me on the web is listed down in the description box below, including staying up to date with what I'm making in real time on Instagram and TikTok. And today I want to come on and introduce a project to you that I've actually been making for the last month, but haven't been able to share it with you because the pattern and templates have been sold out, so they're finally back in stock. So let me share with you a small and daily project that I'm doing. So I have been making a bunch of these wonderful 6-pointed stars that then form a hexagon. So this pattern is called a star a day, and I'll lay them all out and I'll show you them all. But I'm doing these in pink colours and just scraps, and then I'm doing a mixture of backgrounds, just so that when they go together they'll all just be really nice and scrappy. I'll show you the pattern and how many I've done. So the pattern is by Karen Styles from Somerset Patchwork, and this is what it looks like. So I actually bought this from the Festival of Quilts, so if you've watched that haul you will have seen this pattern. She is based in Australia. She comes over for the festival and then I think she teaches for a few weeks after the festival, so I'm going to keep an eye out for that next year, as I would just love to learn more. So this is her pattern, but I am modifying it slightly. So you can see here a picture. Let me take it out of the plastic. So there you go, that's a picture of the pattern, and you get all of the templates in the pattern to make this. So I am leaving out this centre hexagon flower, and I'm also leaving out these diamonds here. So my quilt will just be the stars for a star a day. So it's just going to be stars all over. Oh yeah, I have spoken to Karen and she's absolutely happy for me to share everything with you and to provide some handy tips and like little visuals and things. But here is the layout of her pattern. But I'm literally just going to do the stars that are all across here, none of these extra borders and things. So yeah, she's happy for me to share the pattern and also happy for me to provide some tutorials and tips. So the pattern is written for hand piecing, and that's what the templates are designed for. You could EPP this, that would be fine, but I am hand stitching it because I just absolutely love hand piecing. I'm not going to do a tutorial on it today because I've done several tutorials on my page on how to do hand piecing, so I'll leave those down in the description box below. I really enjoy it. I think it reduces hand strain and things, so I'll leave the links to those for you to check out. But in this video at the end I'll be giving you some hints and tips, especially on how to avoid a hole in the middle and how to deal with all of the seams that intersect at the back. So if you are interested, do stick around to the end and I'll give you a tutorial. So with the pattern you get the templates to do the larger, and this is the one for the smaller size. The actual size of the finished diamond is 7/8 of an inch, so almost an inch. So that's the template that I'm using, but then you also get these. So those are going to be perfect for just using for something else, or if you wanted to follow the pattern exactly, you can use those. And I've been keeping everything in this little basket. I need to get some more of these. They're so handy just for storing little projects in. And these don't take up a lot of room. So all I'm doing is prepping my pieces, and then I'm just putting them together with the appropriate number of pieces. I think it's 6 of each, 6 colours and 6 planes. And then I'm just putting them together with these little clips. And I just do a totally... You can see all of the different colours that I'm using on the backgrounds. Just all different creams and whites from my stash. And yeah, I'm not being too particular on the pinks. I don't mind if there's a few purples thrown in there. I'll just arrange them throughout the year and just get a nice little bit of dispersed colour. And then also in this basket, I'm just keeping my little finger pin cushion because you know that I really enjoy using that. It makes it a lot easier. When I prep my pieces, I'm generally cutting through 2 or 3 layers of fabric at once. I'm using a smaller rotary cutter. I think it's a 28mm because that's a lot easier when you're holding the smaller templates. And then I use a rotating cutting mat just to mean that I don't have to adjust the template. And then with hand piecing, this is why I love hand piecing templates, because this outer edge is where you cut and then you use a pencil to draw inside the line. So these templates are made specifically for hand piecing, so they're brilliant for that. So the templates are like a 2-in-1 almost. So I'm cutting through 2 or 3 layers of fabric to make it quicker, but I'm not actually drawing the lines on the fabric for the stitching. I do that when I pick it up to stitch it, but I really ought to start doing that at the point of bundling them together. It would make my life a little bit easier. So let me see how many I've made. I think I've made a month so far, almost a month. And I thought it would be really good, because I bought the pattern at the Festival of Quilts. I thought it'd be really good if I could get it done by the Festival of Quilts next year. Anyone who's stuck around my channel will know that that won't happen. It will be ready for some festival, but I don't know when. We'll aim for next year. Let's stay positive. So let's have a look at how big it is when I put them all together. Let me get a design board. So I've got one of these big design boards that I made for my Laurie Holt quilt, and I'm just going to start positioning them down. So that is almost filling that entire board. As I was putting those on, I thought I should start joining these because otherwise it'll be a mammoth task. But what I think I'll do is, once this board is filled, that'll be my point where I start joining them. And I could maybe keep that throughout the year, lay them on the board once it's joined. And perhaps, I think it is almost a month that I've done. So maybe when I've done 1 month, I'll join them together. Looks really good, doesn't it? I really love the colours. I like the colours of the background. For me, I like scrappy all over, whether it's the background, the focus colours, just everything. And they are lots of different shades. Let me look at it from a distance. Very nice. Looking at it from a distance, I think I probably need some more that are more white backgrounds, but maybe that will blend in over time. I've only got 2 that are like pure whites. The rest are off whites and with a little bit of pattern. My favourite one is this yellow background. And can you even tell in there that one of the diamonds is a different fabric? Because like I said, when I'm cutting them out, I'm just cutting them in batches, and I suddenly realised I didn't have enough, so I just chose the one that was closest. Same with that, I didn't have enough, and I think that one didn't have enough of that one. So yeah, I'm just playing around with it and enjoying it. So let's go ahead and let me give you some tips on dealing with the seams, but also getting that middle without a hole in it. So I always do my stars in 2 halves and then join the halves together, just because you'll get a little bit more of a more accurate result. So we're going to match the furthest 2 points. I always sew from right to left, but it's whatever you prefer. I open out these seams so I can see that centre triangle. So we're looking for that centre triangle and on the back as well. So you're going to add a pin in as close as you can to the top. There is obviously a lot of seams coming in here, so you want to try and avoid going through the seams if you can. You'll be able to feel it when you're hitting a seam because you won't be able to get your pin through very easily. So that went straight through. So there we are, we're straight through to the back, and you want to keep that pin right in the centre until you stitch to that point. So we'll start at this end. Make sure you're lined up on the front and the back. If you watch my tutorial on the hexagons, it will be quite straightforward, this technique. So in one more stitch's time, I will be at that centre point. So I'm going to take the pin out so that I can get access a little bit easier. I'm going to manipulate my seams over, and then on this seam, take your last stitch and go right into the corner. And then you want to do a little back stitch here, you want to do a little back stitch here just to make sure it stays nice and tight. And then what you want to do is, with your needle, you just think about, you've got to go into every seam. So every piece that is intersecting here needs to have a stitch through it, and that's how you'll avoid a hole. So from here, I'm going to travel with my needle, poke it through, and I want to come out in the middle. Let me take that off. So my needle's coming out here, so pull your stitch all the way through, and then from this end you want to stick to being in the middle, but you don't want to go back through your same hole, so just go over a couple of threads and poke your needle, and now you're coming out to the front. So move all this out the way. You want to be bang on in the middle again. So now we've done this section, we've done the middle, so now we need to travel over to this far side. So again, just move the seam allowance out the way and come out the back. Pull through, and then take a small stitch here, because then you want to take a back stitch straight away. So just another small stitch straight away just to secure everything. Give everything a nice pull taut and stitch away, and that way you've gone through every piece of fabric that is intersecting there. And stitch your way right to the end, removing the pins only when you get really close. I think there's a little knot in my thread. Yeah, there is. And then I always pass my thread through the loop twice, pull it tight, put my nail on it and just give it a little tug just to make sure the knot is nice and secure. And there we go. No hole in the middle, everything is meeting nicely once all of this is pressed. So you want all your seams to be going round in the same direction. So just adjust those, and then your centre will swirl together really nicely. So once all that's sorted, there you go, all of your points are really nice. If you have a seam roller at this point, it's really good to give everything a seam roll just to flatten your seams. And then I just do a little bit in the middle just to help flatten the middle down. And do the same again. So let me join the whites on, and then I'll show you the tips about ironing, so I'll come back in a few seconds. So this is what it's going to look like once you've all sewn it together. So what I like to do is I like to do a little bit of finger pressing before starting the ironing process. So all of your inside seams on the start are going in the right way, and what you want to do is one seam needs to go up and one seam needs to go down, so that then that opens like that, and just give it a finger press. Can't see at the moment, but see, one is going up, one's going down. So this one's down, so that means that one needs to go up, that seam needs to stay over there, and this one needs to come down, and it will open up like that. You don't want to press your seams open because it will potentially make them weaker. So you just want to do that where it's just open in the centre, just to allow everything to nest together. You will have to do something with these when you join them all on, but I'm just going to cross that bridge when I come to it. So one up, one down. And if you do this before you put your block away or before you store it, it will just make it easier when you come to iron it, unless you iron it straight away. So there you go, you've finger pressed it. Now we'll iron it all down. So all you want to do with the iron working from the back is use the tip of the iron just to go in and set those seams that you've already pressed. So just keep it open. And that's why you want to use the tip. You don't want to just plonk your iron straight down, because they won't sit as flush. And as you can tell, there's lots of seams intersecting, so the work that you can do now will really help everything sit nice and smooth. So that's what the front's looking like. Now turn it over and give it a good press from the front. If you then have a tailor's clapper that you can put over the top, that will help set it nice and firm. So I'm going to do that now, because a lovely subscriber in my last video said a tailor's clapper will really help. So give that a good press, and then we'll just go over the top with my clapper there and just leave it to cool off, and then it'll be nice and smooth, and I'll show you. So after a few moments, that will have completely cooled down, and look how flat that is. So now that's ready to go with my other stack, and I'll put it in my little bag. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you'll enjoy watching the progress of this quilt. And if you would like to stay up to date with the ones that I'm making regularly, I will be posting them over on my Instagram account. But until next time, you take care, and bye bye.